Ooh, what's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto,
And I'm Kevin Christian.
and welcome to the War Room. What's up, Kev? How you doing tonight? Thanks for
Good.
joining us.
Yeah. Glad to be on.
Yeah, we got a little. I know. I'm taking you away from the Flyers right now. I could be taking some of chat. I got a feeling most of chat is, we're pulled up on the laptop or the screen or something, the phone, and chat's gonna be watching alongside as the Flyers look to bounce back from, really an embarrassing loss on one of hockey's highest rated games ever.
In 20 years.
So, not a good look for the orange and black. Not a good look. Um, but, that brings us up to something that we talked about 2 weeks ago, the last time you were on this show, Kev, which is why can't the Flyers beat the Bruins? I actually saw a really, really good Facebook comment, which is not something you say every day.
Yeah, that was
But
interesting.
I saw on an NHL site, I saw someone that was from Ontario because I went to this level of like stalking. I wanted to see. I thought they were a Bruins fan, but they're from Ontario, which leads me to believe that they're just keyed into
Uh,
hockey. And they're like, it's really funny because the Flyers finally are a top four team, but the Bruins are going to negate all of that. And it's like it ripped like it was like a true compliment, and then ripped my heart right out of my chest because you're right. Like the Flyers, and we said this going into the season. I felt like disrespect from most of the national pundits, and I'm the supposed Flyers hater, and I'm banging the drum like they're a top four. They're a top four team. They're legit. They're going to contend in this conference or in this division and this conference. So again, just to see it from a random Canadian, but he's right because the Bruins are just. I mean, we're what 0-5 now, or is it 0-4? 0-5 against the Bruins this season.
yeah, something like
It's
that.
bad, and the last game, the outdoors, Lake Tahoe, it was a beautiful setting, and then the game started. And the first period was rough to watch on TV. I don't know if everyone else got that. It was rough. The second and third were easier to see, but more rough to watch as a
Right.
Flyers fan. But yeah, that glare was pretty harsh in the first period. I don't know about you. It was pretty clear to me early on that Carter Hart wasn't picking up the puck.
Yeah, it was one of those things for me where like I didn't totally understand the obsession with let's play the game in broad daylight. I mean, obviously Saturday had its own problems because of the sun, but I mean that's not my point. My point was it's a beautiful setting, but it still looks great when it's dark. And hockey is always going to look better in the dark like that. Like that's the way you want to play the game because then the lights matter and all of that. So I I was happy to see that they moved it back. We were up at midnight watching the Colorado game.
I fell asleep. I had my Avs shirt on. I was so ready, like midnight hockey. I even said it to you. I think in chat, like
Yeah,
our little group thread. I was so excited for midnight hockey, and then the old man, I fell asleep.
and it was
Oh,
and it was significantly better hockey. Like my problem with the first period was the first Bruins goal. Myers fell, Provorov slipped, and then it's a 2-0. Like, and it's because of the goal. Farabee's goal, the puck doesn't bounce like that at the ice isn't that bad.
Hmm.
Like that doesn't happen. So like both teams got one early, but you're right. Carter never picked the puck up. I mean, throughout the whole game, he was out. He was struggling, and eventually it just poured it on. I mean, just everything was going in, and that momentum killer at 3 goals in 99 seconds can't happen.
I'll be honest. I
And
didn't. I see stun in chat, and I was literally just about to say I'm stunned to say this. But what up, stun? What up, Joe Hunter in chat? I didn't watch the third period. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, but I was disgusted. I got my ankle all propped up. I'm like I was already in a bad mood because I've been hurting since last Tuesday. It's over a week now. Yeah, it wasn't a good. I was like, I've had enough of this, and by the third period, again, knowing what I know and how this Flyers team is, I was like, they're not coming back. And then I looked at the score and saw 7-3. And I was like, I made the right choice.
I'll be honest with you. My thing with it was if it was definitely over. I mean, by the time they scored that third one, it was over. And I believe at full strength, it's a totally different game. But being down 6, 7 guys like that, and Carter doesn't play well, it's just that was a recipe for disaster playing a team that has had your number all year. So I wasn't really expecting much. I was hoping to stay a little more competitive than 7-3, but I also expected Carter to play like himself and not like whatever he did on Sunday.
Yeah, and look, no one's ripping. Although I see Stun in chat going, we better watch with Hart. Some people who wanted Wentz might want Hart gone after one bad year. Although Hart's not having a bad year. He had a bad game. But also see Joe Heston in chat. What up, Joe? From Joe Hunter. He also shut the game off. That must be a father-son thing. We were both in tune. Never shutting off the game, but we both had seen enough. Again, it was easy to predict that game was only going to get worse. The Bruins have the Flyers number right now. And again, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and we're still talking about it. So yeah, they're gonna have to solve that. That's a full team issue. And yes, the people we're missing. Right. That's not necessarily an excuse, but it is duly noted. Especially when you have guys like Giroux, Konechny, Voracek. Like there were some heavy hitters there, not there. But that also doesn't negate the 4 games before that the Bruins just mopped the ice with us.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think the biggest thing that sorry to cut you off, man, but I mean my biggest thing with this is you got whooped once so far this year. But the problem that they've had with the Bruins is slightly different in that they've led in the third period in 3 of the 4 games leading into Sunday night, and blew all 3 of them. 2 were in overtime. I think 1 came in a shootout, but 2 going through to overtime into the shootout, and the other one was a 2-1 loss where they had the lead late in the third and then gave up 2 goals. So not being able to finish against a really good team is concerning. The 1 blowout was bad. But at some point you got to beat these guys. You have to finish the games because in a 7-game series, close games are what wins it for you. And bad goals and lucky bounces, whatever, you got to win those games at some point. So you got a month. We'll see.
And the conspiracies are already flying too in chat. We got after that one Carter Hart comment by Stun, we got from Joe Heston. Hart isn't right. I think he may be hurt. I don't think about that at all. I think we would know if he was hurt. What else do we got here? The Flyers are actually better than the Bruins. Oh wait, the Flyers actually beat the Bruins 3 times. Oh, that's a side conversation. I love when chat does the side conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the comment about Moose
just saved.
Moose owes the Flyers. The goal he gave up is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
It's the reason why you're a backup.
Is it 1-1 right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was 1-0 before we took the microphones.
Clean shot from the point. He drops it right in front of the net.
Yeah.
Bang home. So,
well,
he did just make a nice save on a breakaway.
As Joe Hunter loves to point out in chat, he's good for 1 5-hole a game.
He hasn't given one of those yet.
So, do we have a score? It's 2-1? 2-1 who? Oh, boy. It's going to be one of these shows where...
We're on the power play, so it better be the Flyers.
Oh, okay. They're somehow chat is ahead of us, even through my stream delay. That is phenomenal.
Now I can't stop watching the screen. Thanks.
So...
I'm on a massive delay, by the way, so... At some point, I'll catch up to this. Someone yelled Patrick, so now I'm just following Patrick on the ice.
Yeah. So again, that's the Flyers, and that's sort of like what we have for them tonight. And it's obviously we'll keep up with them as the game goes on, and they'll be like our little side tangent throughout the show. Right. But yeah, obviously that winter, or not, it's so easy to call it a Winter Classic. That outdoors game was... Again, something that it was a beautiful scene, and I want to forget it as quick as possible that the actual game happened.
I will say this: I don't want to see fans at a Winter Classic again.
No,
because I don't want to see them in a football or baseball stadium.
I think that was it was interesting how they did that.
it just looked you were able to do more. First off, as someone who's been to one of those games, going to them sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really depends on your seat. I
you
went.
can't.
I
For
went.
most people, you can't see.
I actually, the one I went to, and it was the AHL game. It was in Citizens Bank, and I had what felt like the best seats in the house, so I loved my experience. But I feel like if you were 3 rows ahead of me, you had bad seats.
I
So
stood for the entire Rangers game and couldn't see Briere's penalty shot.
yeah,
It was, and we, I mean, we didn't have bad seats. It was fine, but even if you had good seats, you're still a half mile from the ice. I mean, there's only so much you can really see. I don't need to go again. It was a good experience. I had fun, but I'd rather watch it at home.
Are you for or against the outdoor games? Because that's sort of been a topic.
Always for.
Me too.
I'm almost to the point where I want to watch all 82 of them outdoors.
Yeah, I think
if they could figure that out.
I think that there's ways to do it.
I'm not absolutely kidding.
I think All-Star Game is another one. It should be an all like if you do All-Star skills competitions, that should be outdoors. That could even be one, that you argue you can do without fans.
Right.
Depending, but I guess the All-Star Game is kind of for the fans. So
yeah, it's. I would like to see the game played on a situation like Tahoe, but I would like to see the skills in front of fans.
Yeah, true.
I feel like that's just a fan
skills competition for the NHL is awesome too. Can we just throw that out there?
The guy in charge of it is awesome.
Yeah,
and every year he's got something new, and if it doesn't work, he throws it right out. But the one where they were shooting off last year they had to shoot off of like the balcony of the stadium and hit certain targets, and then they had like Brett Hull come out. I'm like, this is awesome. Like they know how to play to their crowds. It's very entertaining. What did that just read? Oh, that's fine.
the Shark Tank. Yeah. So we got.
I looked at it real quick and I was like, wait, they get eaten. What did I miss?
So we do got a little bit of everything tonight. It's not just Flyers. The other things we're going to talk about. The Sixers schedule just came out. Tobias Harris snubbed from the All-Star game. Kind of like to get everyone's thoughts on Tobias Harris not getting in, Ben and Joe getting in, and then we can also kind of check out what's going on. We can look at the new schedule as it's the NBA finalized their schedule. And I thought this was it's again, everything's weird, everything's different right now. The NBA I thought did a pretty decent job at. All right, we're going to go with half the, schedule, build in all the games that maybe anything missed. It was a fairly good idea, I thought. And here it is. We got the schedule. And, we don't have to go game by games, but I'm just I want to look at, because, I thought the built-in back-to-backs were great. And it doesn't look like there are many of them. I see 2 against Atlanta, which isn't fun, 2 against Orlando to end the season. Home, which isn't fun, but so nothing really sticks out because we're not an everyday show. We don't have to sit here and this game happened. Let's pay out wins or losses because we need to kill time. We're here to jam pack it. Tobias should have been in over Ben. I know why we as fans here in Sixers land say that, but I what do you say, Kev?
See, my thing with it is, and that was going to be my first question, is who are you taking out for Tobias? Because to me, there's only one guy who shouldn't be in it, and there's a bigger snub than Tobias.
I could say 2. I think you could probably come out of there. Randall and Vucevic.
I think Vucevic has no business being there. I personally believe Randall's better. I think Randall's had a good enough year to deserve it. But, and I will never say this guy's name correctly. Sabonis, whatever.
Yeah,
I can't say it. Dude is averaging 20, 10, and 5 and didn't make the All-Star game. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's my problem with it. Is there's no consistency to the All-Star selections. I was looking at last year, and the biggest thing was that they didn't let Devin Booker in because his team wasn't even close to making the playoffs. And now this year, his team is close to making the playoffs. He's putting up the same numbers he did last year. But Zion has better numbers, but his team is not good. But they put Zion in, not Booker.
That's because Zion. I mean, I don't know why, but the NBA is anointed him the next face or whatever.
he needs something to come. But yeah, Booker. I know Booker will get in because of Anthony Davis, but he should have been in to begin with.
Yeah.
Let Williamson be the replacement for Davis.
I got Tatum that should be out. Tatum
Yeah.
is, he's a guy that makes it on years past, if anything, and the NBA does that. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised if Tobias makes it next year. Like, as long as he continues out this season and then starts even a little like this year, he'll probably make it because of the snub this year. But yeah, it's official that Booker's
Yeah, Davis was already out. Yeah.
Yeah. Tatum didn't play enough. Again, I agree. I like, for me, if you're asking me, a Sixers fan, should Tobias have made it over Tatum this year? Yes. I'm a guy that's watching Tobias Harris play every game, and also, as much as I feel like he and Ben are currently on this plateau together, and they're both trending upward at a very good time, as long as it continues to trend upward or stays at that plateau throughout the rest of the season. But Ben is, look, for everybody in chat that complains about this and that, what's the one thing that I am always on Ben Simmons for? Step one, make your free throws. Well, he's like overnight becoming a sensation as far as free throws goes. His percentage has gone up tenfold.
Skyrocket.
So it was the other night, I think he only missed one. So he's doing that. He's being more aggressive. And as far as Tobias Harris, I think Tobias Harris is realizing that he is the number 2 on this team. And I think he's not backing away from that role. And I think that Doc Rivers is really pushing him forward into that role, both mentally and positionally. And I think that's personally, to me, why I think Tobias deserves the All-Star game. And I think that as Sixers fans, that's maybe why people are seeing Tobias play over or at his potential. And with Ben Simmons, we still know that there's more to come. So I could see, as Sixers fans, saying that you want Tobias Harrison over Ben. Me personally, I think that they both should be in. I do think Ben deserves it a little more for whatever it's worth. But yeah, right now, team-wise, both of them are... I mean, the Sixers won a game the other night where Embiid didn't get 30. I think he had like 19 by the end of the night.
19 last time.
So yeah, and that was a game that drove me nuts watching the end. And that's still something that this team's got to figure out how to do, is fourth quarters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's another one where you get a lot of people that go, last year they lost that game, or they lose that game last year. But
I got you.
I'm glad to see. When do you play Toronto next? It'll be a little while. And by the way, the last time we were on, it seemed far-fetched, but those Kyle Lowry to Philly, they're picking up. I still don't think it's any possible, but I believe it was Stun in chat that mentioned it. That mentioned it. And it might have been Stun's like first like comment in chat. I could be wrong. I'm probably am. He's been here for a little longer than that. But yeah, I do remember that being like thrown out in chat. Me kind of poo-pooing it, but
Keith definitely didn't like it.
Yeah,
Keith was very vehement that he doesn't want him.
Yeah, Stun is accepting his credit there. Yes, you're right.
Take that back.
So yeah, and that's the next step with this team. Like, okay, we see everything going, but now it's where and who do you add? Obviously, I've thrown the name Buddy Hield. I would love that. Stun says Porzingis is available. Yes, let's go. If you can get a 4 in here, that's something that this team could really use.
What it seemed like from what I read, now I read it very quickly, but what it seemed like is they offered the Warriors Porzingis, but it looked like they were trying to get Wiseman back. So it looks like they were just trying to get a young 5 to play with Luka. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have that to offer, so I don't know if that's what I don't know if that's where it ends up being. But
Yeah. I don't know when like you got to realize he's on Dallas too. So how available is he? Like you were kind of saying.
yeah, I mean that should be a team that's
but
pushing for. I don't understand why they would make that move.
yeah. So and that's when you hear these like rumors, you got to like. And that's why I said with Lowry, like he's on a team that maybe they don't have championship aspirations, but they're still the 4th seed right now. They just took 2 to the Sixers without Lowry. Obviously they split, but I mean they fought tooth and nail.
Oh, that's a good heart team.
So and they're well coached too. Nick Nurse, man, he looks like the one Muppet, and he did it. He did it last night too, where he pulled the mask down and he was like, and he did the Muppet face, and I started pissing my pants. I laughed so hard. He was literally like, oh, I could hear the noise, and I was like, oh, not like this. I was like, I'm surprised it's not a meme already. I don't want Lowry. I would rather have Buddy. Same Joe. I see that in chat. Yeah, Buddy Hield would be ideal. I don't know, ideal, but probably as good as it can get for the Sixers when you take in the youth, and if you could get him, just to mesh with this team and get him under control for a few years, it would feel similar to the Jimmy Butler situation. Obviously, not the star potential or clout already immediately. But yeah, Buddy Hield would be. This team needs. They need kind of 2 things. They need a guard that can shoot, and they need another big, preferably a 4.
They need a 4
because that's a glaring weakness when Tobias leaves the court. And to be honest with you, as much as I've been loving the Dwight Howard, as much as I love the player Dwight Howard, have we really gotten a lot out of him this year? I was kind of thinking about this last night, and I was like, we haven't really had. I can't think of a night where we've had a standout performance out of Dwight, and Embiid has missed his fair share of games. Yeah. He's had a few shots at doing it. But yeah, it's something to think about. Speaking of things to think about, Joe throwing out, would you sign Cousins? And that is going to be a huge topic of discussion that we could get slowly into, and we can throw Eagles into the mix, and we could just.
He's talking about Boogie.
Oh, Boogie Cousins! I'm like, Kirk Cousins? I immediately think Kirk Cousins. Would you sign? I mean, if he's out there on the street, yeah, absolutely. Is that the thing? Like, is he a buyout? Did he get bought out?
I didn't really. I saw his name being mentioned a bunch, but I don't know.
Let's go to the cloud.
Yeah, I didn't see. I know that there was something that just happened with his contract, but I didn't know if it was he did get bought out. Okay.
Yeah, Rockets waive him. Yeah, do it. Absolutely. Because he's.
I mean, see how it hurts.
I mean, if you can just add him onto this team, gives you another star center in a way. You know what I mean? He's not a star anymore, but neither is Dwight Howard. But you still have swag at that position. All 3 players, and he comes in and he gives you solid defense, and maybe not. He'll probably do the same thing as Dwight Howard, where they love to eat up them fouls. But as backups, you can afford to do that.
Yeah. I think what I like about what Dwight's brought this year is, to me, he reminds me of like a good corner in football. If you don't mention him, it's a good thing. Just plays solid defense, doesn't make mistakes, and fills in that time where you're without Joel. And that's all I really wanted from him. I mean, he adds the leadership qualities, he adds the locker room stuff. That's a given. But, I mean, not being a negative on the floor is really all I want from Dwight Howard. Mm-hmm. I don't need him to be a massive positive. I think Joel takes care of that all by himself.
Yeah, fair points. Again, and maybe that's another thing I have to recognize when I make these is like I'm used to seeing Joel Embiid go out there and just do his thing. But it's like, right. I could go for a good Dwight Howard dunk highlight. Just give me one.
Something.
Just give me one. But yeah, as far as the DeMarcus Cousins, that's not a bit. Anybody that you can just pick up and put onto this team, yeah. You
If for
gotta
no other reason, because if not, the Nets are going to.
Yeah, you gotta figure out a way to get Furkan Korkmaz out of here. Maybe put him on waivers. He is. I mean, I know it's a bad night to do it when he puts up 16 in the first last night, but he ends with 19, which goes to show you how little he played the rest of the game. But it's like every time, like 2 games ago, Doc Rivers says that Furkan Korkmaz is out of the rotation and Isaiah Joe's in, and then this Furkan guy sneaks his way into the starting lineup. So,
I turned the game on yesterday, and I'm like, "Are you? Wait a minute. He just got done saying he was out of the rotation.
Dude is Furkan garbage. Yeah, I agree, Joe. I agree. He's. Who can I equate this to?
I don't know.
He feels like Vince Velasquez at this point. Like, where you're just like, go away! When, like, every time that you think they're gone, they come out and put up a performance like last night, where he puts up 16 in a quarter, and you're like, great, now he's here for another 2 weeks. Yeah.
Wait, and it still doesn't end well. Like, it's just like when Vince gets
Jake Arrieta, yeah, that's a good one. Jake Arrieta was, I think I like Velasquez a little better.
The thing I like more about Arrieta is a good one too, but the thing I like about Velasquez is you can't even get a full game out of him. By the time you get to the third inning, you're like, Velasquez is seen 9 hitters. He's been up and down all 3 innings. This is great, and then he throws 72 pitches in the 4th. There's never a good ending to his outings. It's the same thing with this guy.
I love the Kyle Kendrick from chat, and I love that it wasn't Joe Heston who said Kyle Kendrick, because Joe Heston knows the deep roots that Kyle Kendrick has planted into this show, because he was around for Stickam and Ustream and all the other shitty platforms that we've been on before, where Greg and our mantra was, and this went for life. This was like a life motto. We would be working together, because we were at the time we still worked together even, and it would be like, just be better than Kyle. And that was just our life motto. And we said that so many times on this show. So to see Kyle Kendrick's name brought back in chat, yes, thank you. Beautiful. That is a good one. Yeah. Yeah. As far as, oh my God, we just brought up so many bad people. I'm like, oh. But yes, Furkan Korkmaz. Maybe we can take Carcillo. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a name I didn't need to see again.
That's a name I haven't seen since. I always think old Obi-Wan there. So we digress.
Yeah.
So we need to get Furkan out of here. We can all agree.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield. So that's the Sixers talk. I think that's kind of where we are as far as the Sixers go. Moving on, into the, and we can, again, if you guys got Todd Pigston. It's funny. I thought Todd Pigston. I that was the first one I thought of, but I was like, it's too old. But yeah, Todd Pigston, he stuck around for a while, right? And so is Furkan, and so is Velasquez. Like, these guys that it's just like, go away. Why are you still here? Like, Jake Arrieta was here for his 3-year contract and left, right? But Velasquez, they just brought him back. Same with Furkan Korkmaz. You could have just walked. No, we're gonna bring him back on a 1-year deal. Same with Velasquez. Like, Pinkston, it felt like he was around forever. And yeah, so they're good ones. But yeah, moving into kind of Indu football a little bit.
I was just about to say what Stun just said. Is the fact Greg Lewis is the one that bothers me the most, because he still hasn't left.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wasn't a Greg Lewis fan. Definitely wasn't.
Still a wide receiver coach.
But yeah, and that's opening day. Yeah, baseball's around the corner. We got JT's here. I ordered the Clearwater shirt yesterday. As Bryce Harper's t-shirt game is always fire. Bryce Harper's looking svelte this year, I think is the word.
What was that?
So I think the term is dad strength, right? He's
I don't know.
He's got the dad, and then he just came in just ready to go.
Absolute monster. I was like, that's not the same guy.
Yeah. And if you remember last year, I think there was a little bit of an off-season injury or something, right? He had like the preseason, he was a little banged up or something.
Yeah.
So he's fully healthy. He's fully healthy, ready to go. It's hopefully going to be a fun baseball season. Yeah, hopefully we'll have some fans in the stands too. Got good words recently that, in March we could be having a little bit of an attendance, break or whatever the words are anymore. So yeah, that would be ideal to have a nice, to have opening day and to have people in the park would be safely, of course, would be ideal. Cause yeah, think about like Didi Gregorius is coming. Like he potentially could have never played in front of a Philly crowd.
Yep.
And it's like now he's here for 2 more years. So like, I'm betting. I'm gonna hopefully bet that he'll play in front of fans.
Feel pretty good. He'll see a game in front of the fans.
But like, think about like if things don't get better this season, Dwight Howard never gets to hear the full roar of the Philly crowd, and like those are things that are a little tough to swallow because especially Dwight Howard. Like, I'm hoping he's back next year. I know I like brought up his performance, but like I've always been a Dwight Howard fan, so I don't even care if he sucks. I just want him on the team. And to your, I think you brought this up, and I'm going scatterbrain right now, but he does bring the leadership. He does bring a ring that he's about to receive. Him and Danny Green, and I've made this a few times as we've all kind of now made our final assessment of Danny Green, which is that he's not that great. He does bring that leadership. He has won back-to-back championships, and he's not here for 3 more years like Horford would have been. So win. We all win. But yeah, I did want to make. I kind of made that clear that like we're not getting the Danny Green that you guys think we're getting when we acquired him. But I was still pretty happy about the deal because from day one I felt like I was one of the only Al Horford questioners. I'm not a hater. Nothing personal against Al. No. But immediately when that move happened, now I was mad that Jimmy Butler left.
Yep.
But when that move happened, I was like, you're taking a center that's getting older, and you're moving him to a more athletic position. Usually, you take aging fours and you move him to center. Nothing basketball sense made any logic, but people kept saying it's going to work. It's going to work.
Yep.
Chuck, Charles Barkley, all these guys kept saying how good the Sixers are going to be. And they know more about basketball than me, right? So I got excited, and the rest is history. Velasquez is the Howie Roseman of that's a pretty good one because again,
Phillips just got rid of their Howie Roseman.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they did. Yeah. And I think the whole team is also feeding off that Dombrowski vibe too. Bryce Harper called them win now moves. You see the pitching staff, whether or not we don't know what they're going to be. You saw a plethora of moves, which you didn't even see last year. Like you saw 6 or 7 like back end guy moves that you were hoping you'd get 1 or 2 out of, which you didn't even get that. But this year, you got 6 or 7 again, but moves at range where, the Bradley deal, you think that you have at minimum a setup guy, if not a closer. Right. You think you have this and that, and we need a Flyers update. That's true. Chat, you need to update us on the Flyers. Bryce with the Clearwater, yes. And by the way, that's the only way I can say that word, Clearwater. Like that's really like that's not me throwing a Philly accent. No. That's just my Philly accent.
I just always assumed that's how it was said, and then I got corrected the other day at work, and I was like, "No, that's you're wrong."
But yeah, I ordered that Clearwater. There was a ton of fan sites that already popped up, so I got one of them. Probably gonna see it in March. But whatever. It'll still be in time. It'll still be spring training. It'll still be spring training in March, so it'll still be hip. Flyers 2-1 at the start of the second from our official chat insider Joe Heston. Thank you very much,
Joe. Joe, I got the game on the side here. Was it Patrick's goal or did Ghost score it? Because it looks like both of them. It looks like Ghost shot the puck and hit him and Patrick's stick, but I can't tell from the angle without staring at it. Because that would be Ghost's first goal back.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah. So the kind of final topic of tonight that I want to throw out there, and we can bounce around. If you guys don't want to talk about the Eagles, by all means, I'm for not talking about the Eagles. But we do have to, at minimum, talk about Because Kev, I haven't gotten Kev's thoughts at all. Actually, I don't know if we even like messaged this in the group thread.
No, we were quiet after after it broke.
Yeah, because for me, I've been just mad. I've
Yeah.
been a mad Eagles fan. Carson Wentz traded for this old bag of bagels that I used to defrost on my foot, and another pick to be named later. Really great haul out of your GM. You know, when you draft your franchise quarterback, you always dream to trade him for a second round and another pick to be named later.
It's
So
actually it's a third round and a pick to be named later.
I'm sorry, I gave him too much credit. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on this before
Um, I listen, and it's what we've talked about this before. We talked about this in other sports where you don't know what the offer was for Harden. At the end of the day, we don't know who was in and who was out on Carson. The reports seem to tell me that the Eagles were pretty adamant about a first round pick, and the rest of the league laughed, except for the Colts. And they were able to pull this. If it came down to it was the Colts or nobody, it's not a bad deal because and I've seen this said the other way, Carson didn't tie the Eagles' hands. The Eagles tied their own hands. They bungled this whole thing. Whether Carson deserved to get traded because of the way he played this year, whatever. They bungled this from day one. So to get anything back to me was remarkable. I mean, you got to hope that Carson plays all year now to get a first-round pick. But the assumption would be a playoff team last year, getting a younger quarterback's probably going to have a chance to repeat what they did last year at least. I mean, Carson plays like he did last year, then it might be a high first round for the Eagles. I don't think the trade is horrible, but only from the concept of you had no choice at this point. Like there was no, repairing the damage that they'd already done. So it sucks that this is what it came to. It's actually horrendous. And my thing about this is why the way that they tied their own hands on this is infuriating to me because they have no one to blame but themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You gave the guy the contract. He had a bad year. After you drafted a quarterback in the second round who would have been a third-round quarterback at best. Then you made a competition at the beginning of the year with a guy you just gave $120-some million to. This was the dumbest handling of a franchise quarterback ever. And Carson played horribly. He did not handle the pressure well. I get all of the negatives when it comes to that side of things. But the Eagles never helped him. And we talked about this last time 2 weeks ago in that it's not like they didn't draft skill players. They did. They just all sucked, except for Goddard, who's probably the only skill player you could say has any sort of real skill, other than Miles Sanders, who they don't use, so it doesn't really help Carson.
True.
So this whole thing infuriates me, and what infuriates me more is the first thing that came out of some very heavy hitter beat reporters was Eagles are taking a strong look at drafting a quarterback at 6. So now you messed with your previous franchise quarterback by drafting Jalen Hurts. And the second you move on from him, it's not let's bring in a veteran to back up Hurts. It's let's get the guy to start in front of Hurts. So you don't even think he's the guy. You don't even think he's the one who can really take you anywhere. You've already said that. Whether they take a quarterback or six or not, everyone in that building, including Hurts, has to believe that if they don't take one this year, they take one next year. Because he's clearly not the move. And so why did we do all this? Why do we move on from a quarterback? Why do we draft a backup quarterback who was never going to be anything but a backup in the second round when this team has plenty of holes? We argued about this last week about whether Carson has handled this well by not talking or should he talk or, whatever. This is all on Howie and Jeffrey Lurie for letting this happen. In my opinion, I don't see any way around This is just straight mishandling a prized asset to this team.
Yeah,
And that's where I go.
yeah. I don't mean to cut you. I agree. Like with most, I would just say, and just to give chat a little bit, because I see what chat's saying. I do think that while all of that being true, at least to the fans' eye, Carson didn't help this situation either. Um, through and through, Carson hasn't helped this situation, and we can all kind of see that and agree with that.
Right.
But I do think that from most of the underlying issues, it all points upstairs. And again, it's not dismissing Carson Wentz. It's being mad that the architect is still here. Like, the problem is Howie Roseman, and he's still here. The problem may have also been Doug Peterson. The problem may have also been Carson Wentz. But the problem is 100% with certainty Howie Roseman, and he's still here. So that is a little bit of, that's going to be the issue that we as Eagles fans have to deal with, is that this front office is still here. By all means, we're sitting here waiting to eat our words. I saw something in chat, I think it was from Joe, that he just, just wants...
Philly.
Let me see here.
Philly Joel.
Oh, yeah? The process putting one up?
Technically JVR scored it, but Joel just made an absolutely disgusting pass.
I'm trying to find the comment. No, I can't.
What a play.
Oh, here it is. I would, and this is from Joe in chat. Mm-hmm. I would love to give Hurts a chance. I just want to see this team succeed. And I mean, yes, by all means, I agree with that statement, and it sounds beautiful, and it's poetic to say as an Eagles fan. Like, that all sounds great. But here's the other thing. I also want to cover all bounds, and I, at the end of the day, no matter what, want to win. I don't give a damn who my quarterback is. And I also know that the quarterback is the most important position in football. So if you're sitting there at your keyboard at home on Facebook going like, oh, the Eagles would be stupid if they draft a quarterback. No, you're actually stupid, because the Eagles should be looking at quarterbacks here. They're at pick 6. You don't get that close very often. And if there is a franchise quarterback that you believe is there at 6, or if you can move up, then, hey, by all means, do it. Because, again, from what I've seen from Jalen Hurts and his playing career in college and in the pros, I don't think his play style can hold up through a season. I don't think he gives you anything spectacular. I do think he's a pretty good game manager. I see him as a quarterback that could probably get hot in streaks, similar to Nick Foles, which I know people either love or hate to hear. But I question his durability at 6'1", and as a quarterback that ran, multiple times in only 6 games, ran for more than 20 times. So that's concerning. It's fun to watch, but it's concerning. I mean, how many times did people wanted Wentz to both run and not run because, reasons. So, right. Yeah.
See, that's kind of where I land with this is I don't think Hurts is the guy. I don't. I never did.
I agree with you there. Like, I'm not saying he can't be.
Right.
I like certain aspects of his game. I don't know if he can play full seasons at the way he plays, and I don't know that his arm is explosive enough to be anything more than a guy that takes you down the field.
Right. And that's and this is my whole thing when it comes to the Eagles with the situation is I saw nothing this year. I saw nothing on his tape. I saw nothing in the history of Jalen Hurts playing football that tells me he's a number 1 quarterback.
No, I mean, real quick, just what he did this year was just the things that Carson couldn't do, which was run.
Play football.
Not that Wentz is not athletic, but Hurts is a gear faster than Carson Wentz.
Yep.
So, credit to, that's where he needs that credit. Like, he is supremely athletic. But I get when it comes Winston, when it comes to, the only thing that Hurts really did more than Wentz was he completed the 5, the 7, the 3-yard passes. And look, for everything that we can say about Carson, that's what he just couldn't do this year. He could not, how many times throughout this regular season did I say Carson Wentz needs to go with Joe Girardi to Citizens Bank Park? Am I ringing bells to anybody out there who's a long time in chat? Throughout every week of this season, I was like, Carson Wentz needs to go to second base and go play all positions of the shift and throw it to first base, because his biggest problem was he couldn't hit on the easy throws. And remember Doug Peterson, there are no easy throws. No, dumbass, there are I almost dropped an F-bomb. When it's a 3-foot lob in the NFL, that's a bleeping easy throw.
Right,
and your quarterback that's, that got paid the highest amount of, guaranteed money at the time should be able to make a 3-foot throw. So there are some easy throws. So again, I'm not going to come up here and act like Wentz is the golden child. No. So I don't want people to think that. But I am still 100% in your camp, Kev, which is, this is a front office disaster. And no matter what Carson Wentz did, for instance, Deshaun Watson openly saying, I want to be traded. That's sort of holding a team hostage. Wentz was just silent. So the Eagles weren't maybe necessarily under hostage, but again, this was all caused by them. It's a little so freaking sick of this pass first mentality. That's the Flyers for you.
They've got over 20 shots in the first half of the game.
See, I'm not watching, so I can't.
Listen, I'm going like this, and I've watched them attempt 9 shots on this power play. The Rangers are just blocking them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ghost did just miss the net 3 times in a row. That pissed me off.
So, but just getting back to, let's try. We don't have to. Let's try to move away from the Wentz thing. Again, if you got anything that we missed or that you're still disagreeing, by all means, bring it back. But now let's, like Joe was saying, this team's success. Let's focus on that.
Right.
How and what can this team do to become successful or even watchable this season? Jalen Hurts is, in my opinion, more than likely going to be the starter this year. I'm not so sure on how much I think the Eagles may or may not go up and take someone. But again, I'm not against it. There are good.
No, I think my problem, to me, it depends on what's there. And every year we talk about, well, quarterbacks drop and blah, blah, blah. And then usually there's 2 or 3 teams that decide they need one. They need to have some guy, and they move up. The Eagles can't be that guy. They can't. They cannot move up to grab somebody. One, I don't see who that would be. You're not getting Lawrence, and I don't think this quarterback class is anything special. I think you might be looking at one guy, and that's it. To me, Wilson's the same type of guy you're looking at with it to Arnold, where he needs to be in the perfect situation. And then after that, I don't think Justin Fields has it. I don't think this Trey Lance has it. I don't see anything. If you can't get a wide receiver at 6, I don't know what you do. Because that is so clearly the biggest need on this team, in a team that has plenty of needs. We talked last week about getting Devonta Smith or Jamar Chase. If those 2 are going in the top 5, okay.
Yeah. For me, Devonta Smith is the best player in the draft.
Yeah, and I'd say Chase, but I'm not far off on either one of them. I think they're both pretty close.
Surtain, I see him.
We ended with the Chiefs at 32. Ryan,
I like Surtain. Like I said, I think there's guys there. I don't think this is the year you take the quarterback, and I agree with what you said. There's not a lot of times you're going to be up this high.
Probably be there next year.
They will be. I don't see a way that they're not.
I mean, we still haven't even begun gutting this team.
Right, and that's my biggest thing. And I saw somebody in chat bringing up the fact that their linemen are back. That's a huge, huge plus. I'm not sure it's that big a plus for Hurts because that's not his game. His game is that he improvs.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a big deal if Carson stayed.
I think
getting a quarterback who's better in the pocket. I mean, not that Jalen can play the position okay, but if you're not adding weapons to this guy's arsenal, it doesn't matter how long he gets to sit back there. Because right now he's throwing the ball at maybe Travis Fulgham, who I don't actually think is under contract for next year. So
I don't think Travis Fulgham is good, to be honest.
I don't either, but that wasn't. But that I think is your number. Well, I guess Rager technically is your guy.
That's why he disappeared for a reason, right. And I don't think it was. It could have been, but I don't think it was Doug Peterson's fault. I think he earned his way out of the lineup, and I could be wrong, but that dude disappeared. And
on the field, I don't know what he could have done that would have earned that, because they just stopped playing him for Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah,
who had a problem with the guy. Whatever. There was a whole mess of things. My thing with it is, why is Alshon Jeffrey touch the field at all?
I agree with that. 100%. So
he's openly told you how much he hates your quarterback in the media. And then you bring him back and bench the guy who just led the NFL in receiving yards for the past 4 weeks.
I think teams started actually defending Fulgham, and his productivity started to drop a little bit. And then, Jeffrey stepped into the fray, and that's a whole. Yeah, but you're looking at Reagor, you're looking at Greg Ward, you're looking at hopefully not J.J. Arcega-Whiteside anymore. But why do we hope Hurts falls on his face?
I don't think anyone's
when the hell did you ever hear anything like that? And you need to get your brain examined if you ever at once thought we were going to say that.
Yeah. I'm 100%.
Like actually go get your brain examined or go back and play this. Not you guys.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Well, then
I don't know why anybody does.
I'm still going to defend those words with almost the same vigor. I don't want you to get your brain examined anymore. But no, I think you're misinterpreted. I think people. I don't think anyone wants Hurts to fall on his face. Look, Hurts was overdrafted. So as an Eagles fan, if you're going, oh, we took this guy with a second pick, that doesn't mean shit to the NFL. Like Tom Brady was taken in the 7th. Like that, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. And he says Twitter is killing Hurts. Again, you're going to the cesspool. You're gonna get it. But I think the overall, I would actually say the overall majority has faith in Hurts. I think I'm a little bit in the minority where I think Kevin and I are probably more of the minority where I kind of feel a little sour on him. But again, I don't think it's.
I hope the kid takes off. I hope with the line it does help him. I hope it it gives him an opportunity to really develop his game. I just don't see it with him. That's my thing with him, and I hope like hell he proves me wrong. I'm all for that. Other than the fact that it'll probably help Howie stay another year.
I think he's got intangibles, which is what you want out of a quarterback. And my biggest knock on him is I don't know that his arm is big enough, and he can shut me up real quick with that. Like he had that nice 30-yarder to Greg Ward. He had a big play. He had a big play to Deshaun, but after that, not really many deep passes for him. Not even really attempts. But that's what we need. We need to see more of that. And then the more I see of that, I will eat my words. I want. Look, now that Jalen Hurts is my starting quarterback, I want him to be the MVP of the league. I want him to be the next Nick. I want him to win the Super Bowl. I want him to be the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. Like I want all of that because again, no matter all of these opinions that I spit out, I will curse out Howie Roseman. I might even threaten to punch him in the face if I ever see him in public. But I'm still an Eagles fan through and through, and I think if anything, probably makes me even more of an Eagles fan because. Who wouldn't punch Howie Roseman in the face right now? You could be the most peaceful. I think if the Pope were an Eagles fan, he'd be like, in the name of the Opata! He'd give him a little bitch slap. If you're an Eagles fan, you want to bitch slap Howie right now. That's not breaking news. can we actually give him a deep threat? Again, I'm Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith. Like I'm all for getting a wide receiver.
And I think if you get one of those guys, it gives Rager. My problem with the Rager pick from the minute and a half before it was picked and it got released early was he's never going to be a number one. And there were guys on the board who could be.
You said Rager.
Whereas, yeah,
Rager, he feels like another Jeremy Maclin.
He reminds me of Deshaun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Either way. Remember, when both of them were here, we're like, we got the 1A, 1B, but not the real one. And it's like, yeah.
I think if you can give those guys a 1, I think Jalen Rager becomes a player who's, still not worth the pick, but it makes it a guy. I think it gives you that deep threat that you're looking for without the missing 11 games like Deshaun gives you. Though he missed a couple himself, but.
Yeah. Rager's got to come into the season bigger and healthy. That's step one. Because let's face it, I think Rager is getting a little bit of unjust. I don't know if hate is the right word for it, but let's just call it hate because he's not Justin Jefferson. But his biggest, you can't call him a bust because he was like you said, he missed a handful of games. He came into camp hurt, or not came into camp, but he was hurt in camp.
Yep. Stop calling people bust after 1 year. That has always driven me crazy. I have reason to be worried because I saw nothing. Even on his punt return, like it was a great touchdown.
That was the only one he did.
It looked accidental.
Yeah, and again, to your credit, it's like law of averages. All of his other punt returns sucked or weren't caught or were mismanaged. All those things. And
he also mismanaged the touchdown, did he not? Didn't he drop almost?
Yeah,
drop
that's what I'm saying. He fumbled it. It was like the Deshaun Jackson where you're like, oh shit. But like with Deshaun Jackson, it wasn't an anomaly because you saw plenty of other times where Deshaun broke big plays on punt returns.
Yeah.
This is an anomaly for Rager until proven, wrong. So far, that's all he's done is the one mess up, and he took it to the house. By all means, let's get more of those. We're not no one will be complaining if you run 3 back next year. But yeah, it's
right. I would love to have Devin Hester. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can we bring back kick returns? Can we make kick returns great again? By the way,
It's with the and for a good reason. I don't know how many people on chat have ever been on a special teams. It is not fun.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's just run 50 yards and crash into somebody. Fun, not the word I would use, but hurts like hell. It's definitely a lot of fun to be the one making the tackle. Though.
Yeah.
You can really hurt. You can really hit somebody on that.
You can really hurt someone.
But you can really get blocked hard too. I got blindsided the one time, and it was rough sledding getting up. But yeah, like I said, I think that's the biggest thing. I would like to see them grab a number 1 because I think at that point you really do get a deep threat. And as somebody brought up in chat, the line coming back gives you time. And, maybe, like I said, I want Hurts to surprise us. I also am hoping this coach knows how to run the football because I was not big on Miles Sanders his rookie year. I thought he ran too much east-west, but dude really knows how to break them off, and he definitely knows how to pick up yardage. So I would love to see this team get to balanced at least.
Yeah, I think they need a 2-back with him. I think he needs a bit of a
I agree.
Maybe not even a change of pace, but he needs someone behind him. And yeah, again, everywhere you look on this team, there's going to be holes.
Oh yeah, and there are going to be more of them as we get into bigger cuts.
But we can look into so if we want to move away from the quarterback, as far as drafting one, we still are going to have to, I don't think there's any Nate Sudfeld bangers out there. They're going to be like he's the backup. So I think we do want to look into a backup quarterback or maybe even a starter via free agency. Although starters, cap might be a little bit harder, but if you can make it work, why not go out and get Dak Prescott? chat, Dak Prescott? No, but in all seriousness, Trey Lance versus Carson Wentz, Super Bowl 57. I'm for it. Let's get it. Let's get Trey Lance. Let's get the North Dakota quarterback in here. Let's replace one with another. No, but
Jesus.
there are some pretty notable names that the Eagles could bring in, and I'm gonna say one, and I know the Folesian Society will love it, but Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, you get Fitzpatrick and you got a quarterback controversy immediately.
I think that's my problem. Like, and
No. Let Jalen Hurts deal with it too.
See, and that's
Why does he get any better treatment than anybody else?
I 100%
McNabb had to deal with
mentality.
it. Everyone's got to deal with it, so let Jalen Hurts deal with it too.
I'm 100% of that mentality, but at the same time, we've talked about this on previous shows. I'm an Eagles fan first, and I'm a Dolphins fan second. And I just watched them waste a year of our franchise quarterback's career because we had to deal with Fitzmagic and his backwards, sideways, no-look pass. So, fun. Got us through the playoffs for the first time in as long as I can remember. But it was a waste. Tua never got a real chance, and I'm not really sure I don't know what Tua is yet, but I would worry about that with the same type of thing. To me, Fitzpatrick's going to find himself like as that middle ground on a team that's getting ready to rebuild. I don't know who that'll be. I don't know if it'll be San Fran or something fun like that. I will enjoy Fitzmagic wherever it goes. That would not be my option if I was the Eagles. It does. It immediately creates another controversy.
It makes our job easy.
And this is the thing, is how he's going to set this whole season up for us by drafting a quarterback at 6. 100% that's the way this is going to go. And he's going to do it with either Chase or Smith on the board, and my head's going to explode. And I think that's how this ends. That's my biggest concern. Is he just takes 1 at 6. And again, I don't see anybody. Like, unless the Jaguars have amnesia and forget who Trevor Lawrence is and he falls, I don't see another quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, I go up to 1 and get Trevor Lawrence if you can do it, to be honest.
But Jacksonville already had, like, a signing thing for him.
Yeah.
Like, they're just months away, and they're just like, I know, our quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. And I'm like, that's not a thing yet. But, I mean, I'm glad there's, like, I'm waiting for number 2 to just be like, this is who we're taking, and we're just going to have the whole draft done before April. So it's it's definitely interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't go Fitzmagic. I think there are other options to give you.
No, to be less of a troll and to be actual serious for the remainder of this little bit of a segment. Yes. I do think that there are veterans out there that you can get to mentor Jalen Hurts. If you want to actually do this thing correct, go out there and look at Tyrod Taylor. I'm flying a Virginia Tech flag right there. So, I got a little love for Taylor on that front. But I do genuinely think that he could come in, be a solid backup mentor. You saw, he was no gripes at all out there in San Diego. So, and just as another one, kind of in the same vein, RG3. Who is, very much Robert Griffin nowadays. Yeah. But, again, when you think of the style that Jalen Hurts is going to play, why not bring in a guy like RG3? Why not bring in a guy like Tyrod Taylor, who has seen and done these things, who have had the highs and lows of that style of quarterback play? More specifically the highs and lows as far as Tyrod Taylor, or as far as RG3 goes. But Taylor can offer the fact that he was, I believe, a 3rd round draft. He was late in the draft as well. He wasn't a high pick, and he's kind of been in the shadows for most of his career, but has had times to step up here and there.
Joe, you just confused me so badly. That's also my name.
I was like, did Hayes score?
And I'm like, what the hell does this? What did I say?
At first,
I wasn't even talking when he yelled at me. And then I looked up and I'm like, and I'm also on like a 2.5 minute delay. And then when he wrote "Let's go," I went, "Oh, cool, Hayes is going to score. Where's he at?" But I was the first like, "What is going on?"
What's going on with the delay
I didn't
too?
see it.
How come you're on such a? Is that like, did you pause it or something? Or
Probably so my stupid self is I have the YouTube TV.
Okay.
So like I get like a 15 to 20-second delay to begin with.
Okay. All right.
And then I think when we started, I did hit pause at one point, and then hit play again. But so now it's just. Like,
I was just a little confused.
But it gets me every time.
Real quick, while we are back in chat, I'm seeing this and I gotta address it. As it kind of brings back the Wentz thing. That's okay. I said if you got any on Wentz grievances, you still got to get in there. McNabb never had receivers and still took this team to the NFC Championship. So can we stop using that as an excuse for Wentz? So,
did McNabb not have a top 5 defense for just 6 or 7 years? Because I'm positive Carson hasn't had.
That's where I'm like, I feel like we use, again, I don't think it's excuses for one, but this team isn't good, and that's what you have to realize, and that's what we've been kind of trying to instill into your brains. Even when Keith is here and the three of us, and Greg, like, as War Room Philly, we're just trying to, yes, Wentz played bad. Yes, 100%. Wentz played bad. Had a terrible year. But he had no offensive line. The defense was shit. He had nothing. And the whole team sucked. It wasn't just Wentz. It was the Eagles sucked. And the Eagles are going to suck. Yes. Like, the Eagles have sucked, will suck. And, it's like...
and they continued to suck when Hurts was in.
Yeah. Like, it's not like Hurts came in and all of a sudden this team started winning. They won, one game out of his starts? 2?
2. I think it was 2.
So, it's...
And one of them was against Taysom Hill, so that doesn't count.
Yeah. And again, Hurts... he played pretty good. I would say his first 2 starts were a little more impressive, but then quickly the adjustments came in. But again, this wasn't just a Wentz thing, and this next year it won't be just a Hurts thing. Like, right. This team is bad, and I don't think an offseason will fix it. So, I kind of tend to think that this season's going to be a flaming pile of garbage, and you're going to fire a coach, GM, and probably a quarterback at the end of this season.
No, Sirianni will get a second year.
We'll see.
They'll let him.
Let
him pick his coach.
I hope. But after that Wentz trade, I kind of just everything went downhill for me as far as my faith with this organization. And I kind of think that Howie's on a 1-year tenure at this point.
I agree.
I don't think he's back next year unless this team does something that I don't see happening. But it's the mark of a good franchise versus a bad franchise. A good franchise makes the call early, gets Howie out of here, probably even before the season ever starts, or last season. I mean, a bad franchise will let Howie ruin this thing for a couple more years before getting rid of him. So, again, hope I'm wrong. I'm an Eagles fan. I want them to win. I want Jalen Hurts, again, to be the best player. I want Jalen Hurts to be better than Tom Brady. I just, we'll see. Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. Again, Joe, music to my ears.
Assuming he's still on the team in September, I'm all in.
Music to my ears. Like, I'm all for it. I at this time, don't foresee it.
Joe, when they draft somebody at 6 at quarterback and then trade Hurts,
this is
on you.
We're still a ways out, but I want to do another live War Room Philly thing during the draft because last year it was so successful.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
So in fact, we can get you in this year. But yeah, I kind of want to do it again, just especially because we're 6. And man, I'm only gonna do it. I need it in writing that Joe will be in chat. Like, I don't care if it's only Joe. Like, if it's only Joe Heston in chat, I'm fine. But I'm only going to do the show live on the draft if Joe Heston is there in chat, because I need to see his reaction, good or bad.
I don't know if I should be on camera. I might have to be in chat. Because I think it would have been very, very sad if anyone had to watch my reaction when I read that Rager. Because I follow the one insider who spoils every pick because I don't have the patience to wait for the actual pick to be announced.
Yeah, much like Greg on the.
So me and Greg found out, the minute and a half before everybody else, and I couldn't believe it, and I threw things and all that. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, especially with 6. I can only imagine what's gonna happen. So.
This is Joe in chat. Let me try to do ding 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 ding. With the 6th pick in the overall. That's not Roger Goodell's voice. What?
Yeah, I would say, what is Cartman doing? What's going on?
With the 6th pick in the overall draft.
With the 6th overall pick in the 2021 draft, the NFL. Oh my God, I can't read or talk right now. The Eagles select Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State.
Notre Dame.
I really can't read or talk right now. But no.
If they take a tight end, I swear to God, that's my quarterback's pretty high on that list for me too. But like, I can at least understand. Like, you think you see the guy, you go get him. But like, I understand Kyle Pitts is a freak, but no. First of all, you don't need a tight end again.
Yeah.
Like, then we're just gonna be talking about how we got to trade Goddard and add that to the new list.
I won't be mad if they take a quarterback. They got to get it right. That's the only thing.
One, I don't trust them to.
The ball.
And 2, I don't think they can.
Yeah.
And that's not a. The first part was definitely a dig at Howie. The second part's not. I don't think it's possible without the number 1 pick. I just don't. I don't see that guy this year. I think in previous years, the Allen draft, the Herbert draft, like, there were guys further down who I thought could still have legitimate. I don't see anybody in this draft. I don't. And like I said, I like the Zach Wilson kid, but like, I think he needs to fall to a spot. We've seen what Sam Darnold's not been able to do in New York. I think Sam Darnold is a better quarterback prospect when he was coming out than Zach Wilson is now.
Sam Darnold to Philly?
Listen, I like Sam Darnold. I want him to go to Pitts. I want him to be the Big Ben successor.
Yeah.
Because you give him those weapons, you give him that team. I think he's a legitimate NFL quarterback, but that's one of my hot takes that I stay with.
That's hey, as long as you believe it, it's not a hot take, right? Isn't that? I think that's a Mark Farzetta quote. If I can,
I like it. I like
Farzia quote.
I like Farzy. I'll take that. It's not a hot take.
I'm pretty sure that was the thing he always would say is it's not a hot take as long as you believe it, right? And it's like, that's pretty good.
It's usually when he's talking to one of the local beat reporters who has a problem with somebody on War Room.
Exactly. So, okay, yeah, I guess I get. And just while we're looking down, while we're looking at the list, a couple other. How mad will you be if he trades down? Actually, yeah, no, that's
Chief's number 1 worry.
That's the worst thing he can do. In fact, I pulled one mock draft up just to get names so I don't sound stupid, because it happens, like when I was just reading earlier. But right here I have SI.com has the Eagles. It has the Eagles taking Trey Lance, but it has that pick going to the Panthers. So at 6, Trey Lance, the Notre Dame, God damn it,
Notre Dame again.
The North Dakota quarterback is picked, but it goes to Carolina, and it says for picks 8 and 73. I guess I can kind of move down to 8, but again, not if. So Jamar Chase is taken at 5. No, I can't do that if. Because Smith is still on the board, and you got to get Smith.
It
says, and here they have him getting him at 8, but nah, don't mess around and play stupid games. If he's your guy at 6, you take him.
Yep.
Yeah, and a guy. That's who I want. I just see big game potential. Again, not to knock Chase, because it's like,
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either way, you're good. I think either way.
I think you're only getting a shot at one of them. So I don't think it really matters who you like. To me, it was the same thing that happened when we were talking about Goff versus Wentz. It didn't matter who you wanted because we didn't get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
The Flyers went through this with Nolan Patrick. There were 2 guys at the top.
I wanted Nico.
They didn't end up being the top 2 players in that draft.
I wanted Nico.
But it didn't matter.
Captain of the Devils now.
Yeah, but it didn't matter who you wanted. The Devils go first, and then you take the second guy.
He said it didn't matter who you wanted.
My brother and I went back and forth all
so good.
all season about it. And I said to him, I said, it really doesn't matter. Whoever they take, you take the other one. As long as that's the way it goes, that's what it is. And that's how I am with those two. Is if Chase or Smith is there, you take them. And I don't care which one because I don't think you're going to get the choice. I think one of the 5 teams in front of you is going to take one of them.
Yeah, I tend to agree with all of that.
My hope is, as the guy who wants Chase, is that it's going to be the Dolphins and they're going to take Smith because
you double
the
dip. You said both. You said both my teams. I'm looking to recruit a second team. I'm looking to recruit like an AFL, because like I'm kind of over the Seahawks, and it feels
AFL
like
or AFC.
Either one. I might go Arena Football League.
Arena's fun.
Talking is hard all of a sudden. So
you're like AFL, and I'm like, wait a minute, what?
It's after the hour mark, and I guess talking got harder. But
we will always welcome you in Miami. It's a lot of not fun.
Yeah, Arena is. Yeah. No, I'm looking for like I kind of like the prospect of the Chargers a little bit, but that I liked that because they had an Oregon and Virginia Tech quarterback at one point. Right. Now I want Tyrod Taylor here, yeah. So but yeah, that's gonna be the journey of my next season is finding my other team, CFL, yeah. Anthony. Yeah. No, but because I like to have other teams to root for. The Eagles are always my number one and only, but like I just like to have side, just like a little side action.
Yeah. I need something to do on my bye week, so
yeah, exactly. Like the Eagles are gonna be bad this year, and I'm gonna want to just like look around for maybe it's the Colts. Maybe I just go with my boy Wentz and I become a traitor of the state. But we are.
That worked out well for me the last time I did it. I got to watch the Kings win 2 cups with my boy Richie.
True, so. That's true.
Someone just suggested the Cowboys.
No, can't do that. Can't do that. Won't do that. In fact, you would disown me if I did that, Joe Hunter. Joe
asked about Najee. I always mess up how to pronounce his name, but Najee Harris, dude is a beast. I would love to see that as the second half of this 1-2 punch that Anthony was talking about earlier. I think it gives Miles Sanders a guy who doesn't do the same things. I think it's not a change of pace like like you said, it doesn't have to be a change of pace. I think they both are solid runners. I would love to get Harris. I think he's a very, very good player. I don't think he makes it out of the first round though. You'd have to trade back in. Yeah. Don't take running backs in the top 10. It outside of maybe one every decade it works, but.
So I've developed a little bit of a theory, if you will, on what we allude to as the change of pace back. And maybe it was just Doug Peterson, but it feels like when you have 2 running backs with 2 distinct skill sets, teams kind of know what they're getting. It's like the same thing when you imply the 2 quarterback, rule. When which our friend Russ loves to do, once a month. So it's like, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you can kind of that have distinct, each separate skill sets, you can key in and it becomes predictable what they're going to do. Same thing kind of with running backs, where when you have like a Miles Sanders versus the Garrett Blount. And especially with Doug Peterson calling plays. Again, maybe it was just him. You kind of know Blount is just doing this, and Sanders is going to do a little bit of this. Yeah. And Sanders, like we've alluded, he can do a little bit of everything, and that's. I wouldn't mind having another guy that can just even if it's a Boston Scott, but it's just a little bit better. Ooh, and I see the new PogChamp in chat. PogChamp, let's go. We had to remove PogChamp because the face of PogChamp was a controversial figure, as he was seen storming the Capitol. So PogChamp is now a Viper. Shout out to PogChamp in chat. And that's the story. And that's the story of PogChamp. As I digress.
So I'm with you with the change of back as far as the change of pace backs as far as knowing what's coming. I will say that Baltimore, I love the way they do it because they line up both of them in split back behind the quarterback,
and you
have no idea where the ball's going. and you have to prepare for both.
And you can do that now with
right,
Hurts,
right.
So
And I think that was my biggest problem with Doug. His play calling was so vanilla, predictable, simple. I swear to God, it's the Remember the Titans playbook where he only has 6 plays. And
not
he
even
calls
the
them
vanilla
progression.
bean either, like just the plain vanilla.
Oh, it's bad. Like, no, I mean, just, and you don't get that. And then his flash was always like, let's do a quadruple reverse. Like, okay.
Or let's go for it on
I
4th
like
and
it.
2 in an inopportune time.
Right. And I'm all for the taking chances and the guts and all that, but like, is there a medium somewhere? Is there like something that isn't a screen pass, like that is somewhat tricky? It doesn't have to be like our left guard is throwing the football. It could just be like, a random, a normal play with a different setup. You just didn't get that with Doug, and that always drove me nuts. It was, listen, my mother shouldn't be able to tell you what play is coming next.
Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't, and she could with Doug. That to me is when you shouldn't be calling plays, because my mom watches a football game like every decade. And she's like, it's clearly going to be a run to the left. And I'm like, what? When am I sitting next to Tony Romo now all of a sudden? And then she did it 3 more times, and I go, this is...
It's the Tony Romo effect. We can all predict it now.
Right. I know he needs to be fired because my mom can Tony Romo this, so I'm done.
Yeah, again, with this offseason, it was never really getting rid of Peterson. That was my big problem. It was not getting rid of Howie, too.
My thing was I didn't see Laurie pulling the trigger. And not doing anything except moving on from Wentz, to me, was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
My top choice would have been Howie goes and let the next guy decide what he wants to do with the other 2.
Completely agree.
Next for me was Doug had to go. I think the fact that you're biting this bullet with the contract and you don't have a real option behind him, I think moving Wentz is a mistake. But at the same time, as we've talked earlier in this, you kind of forced your own hand with it at this point. So I'm not sure what else you can do at this point. So moving on from both of them, it's okay, I guess. But like we talked about, the biggest problem is still here. The biggest problem is going to be the one who has to get them out of this massive cap problem that they're in. And I don't know what this team looks like next year. I don't know who else is going to go.
Well, guess what? He's got 34 dead against the cap. They're already cap ridden. Let's see how much of a wizard you are, you prick.
Yep. It's going to get bad.
Yeah.
And I saw the other day that the top offer for Zach Ertz is a 6th round pick.
Do it.
You're
going to have to. And that's the thing. This is like, the Eagles are caught with their pants down, and every GM is just licking their lips because they know it's coming. Like it's how he played kick the can for so long, and it's you can't kick it down the street. It's here it is, and we'll see. That's
I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what this team looks like, and like I said, I don't think it's hoping for failure for Hurts. I just don't see.
I want to eat all of my words. I really do. I want to eat all. I saw 7 wins in chat earlier. That to me is 3 to 5 more than I think they're capable of. 7 wins would be fun this year. I kind of like. I know 2 wins is better than 7 in a way, but like 7 wins kind of gives me some faith moving forward. So I can get behind a 7-win season. Doug Peterson was 8-8 in his first season, and we felt better about it, going forward. But
yeah, I agree. I'm not sure.
This doesn't feel anything in the same way where we were Doug Peterson year 1.
Well, no, and I mean, and a part of that is with the way the quarterback position is, and that's not having real answers is troublesome. And it's because of the way they're handling all of this more than anything. You don't know what this is going to look like. I was messing with Joe earlier, but I'm being dead serious. I'm not sure Jalen Hurts makes it to September on the roster. Because if they draft somebody at 6, I expect that they're going to sign a veteran and get rid of Jalen.
That's possible. That would be another one that they cut their losses on too, because you're not going to get a second or more for Jalen Hurts.
No way.
So
No, and that's what I mean. It's just another year of I don't know. I don't know what you do at this point with this team, and there's just a lot to try and fix, and I'm not sure they have the guy. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm positive they have their own guy doing that.
It's almost like there's.
I'm right there with you, Joe. I absolutely hope we're both wrong.
It's almost like there's no way home for the Eagles. Oh, a little Spider-Man drop right there at the end. That's why I wore the shirt today. We're coming up on like an hour and a half, and I want to watch what's maybe left of this Flyers game. Is there anything left of this game?
Third period about to start.
Okay, well then that's good. That's perfect. It's a great time.
Well, I'm on a delay. It might be middle.
It's a great time to get back going and wrap things up. So, chat, any and all final thoughts. Now is the time as we wrap up and get ready to watch this third period. Anything we missed tonight, Kev? We went all around the world.
I think we hit it all. I mean,
I even got to get my Spider-Man reference in.
Your Spider-Man reference. I'll leave it alone. I know how big a Spider-Man guy you are, so I won't say it.
Wait, what happened? What happened? What's wrong?
This has been a running thing that I've said to people when referencing this movie with the rumors of who's cast in this one. Obviously, with the possible return of the former Spider-Mans, I'm excited to see a Spider-Man movie again with Peter Parker in it. Because it's been like a decade since they've actually done Peter Parker correctly. So I'm looking forward to that. I love Holland, but I've yet to see Marvel have him play Peter. He's just playing Miles if he was white.
I think it depends on where you go. I know everyone thinks of Tobey Maguire as like the ideal Peter Parker, but
I'm the huge minority of people that Garfield is my guy.
So see, same actually.
Okay.
So which is like, okay, all right. Now you got me back in.
The scene the first one with Garfield when he is in the back seat of the car with the little knife. That is Spider-Man. If anyone wants to know what a minute and a half of Spider-Man being Spider-Man is, it's that scene.
He's got a little more edge to him. He's got like the Deadpool quips.
Yep. I have so many problems with both of Garfield's actual movies. But when it comes to playing the character, perfect.
I actually said the same thing. He plays the best. He played the best Spider-Man, but had the worst. He was in the worst situation. He had no offensive line. He had no wide receivers, and he made a bad movie because of it. You can't put this guy in a bad situation.
I agree. My thing with Holland's Spider-Man is the closest we've seen to him playing Spider-Man was Civil War and Infinity War.
I think they do a good job of showing him as a student.
Yes, but my biggest problem with the first one was everyone was hilarious except for Peter. Like, he had no quips. He was literally, like, being made fun of in the middle of fights. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why am I getting dad jokes from Vulture, but nothing? Spider-Man is just like, I'm here. Punch. Like, what the hell is going on here? I understand that they changed the dynamics with this, with how it is between him and Iron Man. But, like, I grew up on the comics and the TV show. And, like, he hates him in everything else except for the MCU. So, like, the whole second movie being, like, idolizing him was super weird. Makes sense with what they've done, and I get why they did it. But, like, I didn't need a whole movie like that. Like, there was just moments that I was just like, this is Miles looking up to Peter. Like, you've done this idolization that, like, Peter Parker doesn't have that. And if he does, it's with Doc Ock, who's a villain, and it's a great storyline. You don't get that with him and Iron Man. But that's beside. I'm excited to see. I don't like John Watts, the guy who directs them or writes them. I think he's a subpar writer and director. I liked Far From Home a hell of a lot more than I liked Homecoming, mostly because Jake Gyllenhaal was awesome, and I thought Holland got closer to what he was supposed to be. But the idea of all three of them being in it, I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's gonna be a fun.
It's
might be the first movie I go to theaters in since, I guess, The Rise of Skywalker. That was the name of that movie, right? The third one?
Yeah. I saw Tenet.
Yeah.
That was my last one. And,
yeah, chat, what's your last movie you saw in theaters? As we wrap up our final thoughts. Yeah, I guess it's Star Wars. Yeah. How about that?
That was a while ago.
I know. It's like, you know what's weird? Out of all the things I miss, I don't really miss going to the movies.
See, I had that like movie pass, and then I had the ones that came after that. So like we paid like $11 a month for unlimited movies.
Okay.
So like we would go see anything just to like get out of the house and like give us something to like. So we saw some stuff that I otherwise would not have paid to see. Like there's no way I'm paying $20 to go see. But some of the horror movies I saw would definitely not have paid $20 to see. Well, when you're going to see 4 to 5 movies a month for what is the equivalent of $2, it's worth it. Like I'll go see anything just to make sure that I'm getting my $11 worth.
Yeah.
But Tenet, I had to see in theaters.
Lion King. That's there you go.
All that in theaters.
Yeah. So yeah, good final thoughts. Yeah, we'll be getting back. Everything, you know, it's hopefully on the horizon, getting back to some normalcy.
I'll be in my seats soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I miss. I didn't really like going to the movie theaters, but I did find Penn Cinema. I'll throw them a little shout out because they're, you know, they might go out of. They may have already gone out of business, to be honest with you.
They hung with it.
Or they're still staying strong. So cool.
Making it through so far.
Because yeah, they're by like the Huntington Valley DMV.
Yep.
And they're my new go-to when I like they've been my. They're like maybe 2-3 more minutes out of the way from the other closer one near me, but so much worth the drive.
They've been doing
beers during movies. Fantastic. They've been doing drive-ins.
Drive-ins.
Oh, yeah.
That was how they got. That was really how they got through the peak of it. I don't know if they're still doing it, but now they have like you can rent a whole theater.
That's cool. Yeah. That seems
so like whatever it is for 8 to 10 people or whatever, it's like ends up being like $10 a person. You can play whatever movie you want, and they'll
nice.
throw it up on the screen. So it was my one buddy was just looking into that. He lives right next door, so he was like, whatever we got to do to keep this place open because
that's awesome.
He like you loves himself a beer while he's watching movies.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's the thing: spend like what $8 and get a good beer. You know, normal size. You're not getting the big thing, but you get a good IPA. You know, from the draft. Or spend, you know, $12.50 on a soda. Yeah, I'd rather have the beer. So
I went in there the one time. I was like, "Can I get a water?" They're like $6, and I was like, "Can I get a beer?" And they're like $8.50. I was like, "You can keep the water."
Yeah, like for real.
The $8.50 fine.
As is being a good bargain hunter at that point. It's not even about the booze. It's bang for your buck.
I could buy 40 bottles of water for $6. I'm good.
Yeah, for real. So we made it through the show. I think that was third just started. Okay, so that means it's officially time to wrap it up. Joe, the program director in chat. I love it. So, guys, thank you all.
I'm caught up.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Kev's caught up. We're all caught up.
I'm caught up. I hit that fast forward button.
Yeah, so
almost just the time to see a goal.
Kev, I appreciate you coming in and filling in tonight. It was good to have you in and getting all your thoughts. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, both live and on demand. With that, I'm Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Kevin Christian.
And we are out of